Jigme and Jetsun Pema are more than just a beautiful royal couple, they are the picture-perfect symbol of modern love and tradition coming together. Their story has all the makings of a real-life fairy tale, filled with romance, elegance and a strong connection to their culture. But as you might know, royal traditions in Bhutan suggest that the king can take more than one wife, ideally sisters of the first queen. Jetsun Pema herself comes from a family of remarkable beauty, and her sisters are often compared to models for their grace and charm. King Jigme chose to break away from this long-standing tradition. So why didn't he marry one of Jetsun Pema's sisters, as tradition suggests? And what could be the reason that keeps him from marrying the second sister, even though everything seems to point in that direction? The answer may surprise you. Make sure to like this video, and now let's uncover the untold story behind this royal decision. This story could easily become a fascinating series. It wouldn't just have a dramatic storyline but also a touch of mystery. After all, Bhutan is like a real-life fairy tale kingdom, still following some old traditions because it's far from modern civilization. Bhutan is in Tibet, high in the mountains. Here people deeply respect Buddha, use yaks instead of cars, and measure travel distances by how many cups of tea are drunk along the way. People in Bhutan believe in reincarnation and destiny. The story of how King Jigme met his future wife Jetsun only made these beliefs stronger. Their first meeting was when the Crown Prince of Bhutan was 17 years old, and Jetsun was just 7 years old. The prince saw her playing with dolls, looked into her eyes and said, "When you grow up, I will make you my wife." Little Jetsun replied calmly, "Only if I don't meet someone better and you don't forget." The amazing part is that 14 years later, they actually got married. By that time, Jetsun had gotten an excellent education in India. Jigme had graduated from Boston University in the US, and then from Oxford in the UK. He also became king, taking over from his father, who chose to retire. This happened in 2006 when Jigme was 28 years old, making him the youngest ruler in Bhutan's history. 4 years later, exciting news spread across the country. The king kept his promise to the little girl, and after 14 years he asked Jetsun to marry him. It probably wasn't a hard decision for him. Jetsun had grown into a smart, confident, and beautiful woman with both Eastern charm and Western manners. Since Jetsun didn't find anyone better, she agreed, and all of Bhutan celebrated their wedding. The wedding took place on October 11, 2011, as court astrologers said this was the luckiest day. The ceremony followed old Tibetan traditions. After the grand rituals, the High Lama declared Jigme and Jetsun husband and wife. The Dragon King, as they call their monarch in Bhutan, placed a crown on Jetsun's head, making her a queen. Then something surprising happened. In front of everyone, Jigme kissed his new wife on the lips. While it might not seem like a big deal, public displays of affection are usually not allowed in Bhutan. About 60 to 70 years ago, people could be punished for showing such feelings publicly. But the young king loved his wife so much that he broke this important rule. Surprisingly, the people of Bhutan didn't condemn him, most actually supported it. A lot of this is because times are changing and Bhutan has become more open-minded. But the main reason is how much the people admire and love the king and queen. Jigme and Jetsun's friendly behavior has a lot to do with this. Even before they were married, they often walked around the capital city, Thimphu, holding hands. They would chat with people and sit at tables in cafes like anyone else. After their wedding, they continued this way of living. Instead of a grand royal castle, they chose to live in a cozy, single-story house. They still walk the streets and show their love in public without hesitation. To show that the king loved not just his wife but also his people, Jigme worked hard to make life better in Bhutan. He gave land to poor farmers and helped develop industry in the country. The king's wife also played a big role in improving the country. She helps with medicine, education, and culture, and has made great progress in these areas. In their family life, Jetsun gave birth to 2 children. 5 years after the wedding, they had a son named Kisar, who is the heir to the throne. The king was very worried about his wife during her pregnancy and stayed by her side during the birth. 4 years later, they had another son named Unjian. Today, Jetsun helps her husband with international talks and travels with him on trips abroad. They also host visits from other royal families. One of the most notable visits was from British Prince William and his wife Kate Middleton. Even though their cultures are different, there are some similarities between the couples. Jetsun became friends with Kate and even taught her how to shoot arrows. Jigme also connected with the future King of Britain and shared the story of how he broke with centuries of tradition for love. Everything would be perfect if it weren't for Bhutan's tradition of polygamy. This tradition applies in both ways. For aristocrats, it's expected to have 3 to 4 wives. For ordinary people, it's normal for one woman to have 5 or even 10 husbands. Since the king was wealthy and noble, he was expected to have several more wives, and according to tradition, they should be sisters of the first wife. Jigme's father, King Singye, followed this tradition closely. After marrying a woman named Wangmo, he also took 3 of her sisters as wives, and they had a total of 10 children. Queen Jetsun has 2 beautiful sisters, and according to tradition, the king could marry one of them. But Jigme broke this old tradition. He has said he will not marry again. He believes that while Bhutan used to be ruled by old customs, it is now ruled by love. By the way, the tradition of marrying sisters was still followed, but it was handled differently. Jigme's younger brother, Dorji, ended up marrying one of the king's wife's sisters, named Yatso. She is very beautiful, so it seems unlikely that it was just an arranged marriage. Dorji says he fell deeply in love with her, and like his older brother, he plans to have no other wives. Although one of the queen's sisters is still unmarried, there's a chance that someday the king or his brother might change their minds. Ironically, all 4 of the king's father's wives came to the wedding of his brother. They supported Dorji's choice to have only one wife and smiled with a hint of sadness. The beautiful and somewhat magical love story of the Dragon King Jigme and his only wife is not over yet. The couple rules their country, enjoys life, and loves each other. Their story shows that true love can change even the oldest traditions. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey through the fairy tale love story of Jigme Wangchuck and Jetsun Pema. What do you think about Jigme breaking tradition for love? And how do you feel about the way Bhutan's customs are evolving? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more amazing stories. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.